Okay, so if you are subscribed, you should get a notification now. I just got it. I'm just confirming that the audio and things are working properly and the alignment. I don't have the chat turned on right now. Okay. So I'm actually watching it now. Just gotta. Okay. So it looks like it's working. I heard the audio earlier. Looks like it's working properly. So I'm going to move forward. So you can actually view this live. This is going live on YouTube. So I think it's still. Let me stop this. But yeah, it is working. So with all the scheduling things that's been going on, we still have to move forward. Like beyond whatever all this stuff that's going on, we still have to move forward. So with that being said, let me turn this down. Oh, I got a red light. Uh-oh. Okay. So with that being what it is, um, today I have to stream live on YouTube. So this is streaming out live. So we will finish chapter 3, if not today, definitely by Wednesday. I would say let's just go ahead and anticipate exams 2 and 3 on Friday. We're going to take 2 exams that day. We've been trying to take this exam for about a week and a half now. It's been a while. Tried to take it on Friday. Remember the calamity. I feel some kind of way about it. It's nothing we can do about it. It's in the past, so we have to move forward. Today, you see, people either have things that are more important, but I don't want to slight people. So we're either going to. I'm not going to take it Wednesday because I'm going to go ahead and finish out chapter 3. And then, because every time we've met, every time you see me, I do at least one section. So we've been moving forward with the new material. So we're going to be ready for exams 2 and 3 on Friday. So exams 2, whatever you had in the past, just use that. You'll be fine. Exam 3, I anticipate a study guide probably the next couple of days or whatever. And you want to have that ready to go for Friday. Next week is like Thanksgiving. Is that correct? So we're out that whole week. This is why it was so important that we kind of stay on track. When we get back, we'll see what the time is looking like, but right now we need to go ahead and get these submitted because the less things I have on file for you all, then the harder it is for me to kind of assign grades. It's like if you only have like 2 assignments submitted, and then if you do bad on one, then that's not a true representation of your ability. So that's why I'm trying to get as many exams in, at least 4. We're on target for 3. If we can get a 4th one in there, then we have a little bit of wiggle room. So it's not so stringent, if that makes any sense. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns before I go forward? Go ahead.
Because I feel like taking tests is not, it's not like, well, it's good, but I feel like you should probably grade the homeworks as
There's no
well.
way I'm going to grade your homework.
No?
That's now the way in the past, the way I used to do homework. I just don't have the access where I am right now, but I usually do online homework management, so like Pearson. So that way you can get instant feedback. Now, if you have specific questions from the homework, the same way I'm streaming this video live on YouTube, I can answer specific questions. I can make dedicated YouTube videos. Nobody has asked me questions. So, but all you have to do is say, hey, Mr. Pfeiffer, I was working this question from the homework. I'll look it up, I'll load it, and I'll make a dedicated YouTube video, and I'll send it out to everybody. But you have to ask. If you don't ask, I'm not going to create it. You see what I'm saying? So, but now again, like I can look at specific questions, but I'm just not going to be able to grade everybody's homework. That's just not realistic. If we had the My Math Lab, then you can get immediate feedback, but students still make up any excuse not to do the work. So if you're going to do it, you're going to find a way to do it without any excuses. If you're not going to do it, you're going to find an excuse. And the thing with excuses is they're all true. They're valid, but it leads you to, you know, not the opposite of greatness, whatever that is. So, removing excuses, the same way the students can find a way to go on these field trips and do everything else. You know, we have to do the same thing with what needs to be done. Go ahead.
For people that their grades aren't good right now, are they able to make like pick up anything or
Yeah, this is the reason why I'm trying to get more exams in because then there's a little bit of wiggle room that I can do. But if we have fewer exams, then I won't be able to do it. So honestly, at any given moment in my class, anything can happen. Anything is possible all the way through the final. You can be at the bottom going into the final, and we'll talk about some things where you can actually turn it around come the final exam. I'll go ahead and say it now, but you can anticipate, honestly, with the final exam, if your final exam is higher than your lowest exam score, in the past I've been able to replace your lowest exam score with your final exam score, provided that it's higher. See, that's one way. So then, and there's some other things that I do that are similar, but we have to get some things submitted. If we don't get things submitted, then I can't do these things. I think I saw one more hand, unless it got answered. Go ahead. From the homework? Not right now. Not today. So just because we just don't have the time. Maybe at the end of class, and if we don't have time at the end of class, just send me an email with your question, and I'll make a dedicated YouTube video that you can watch at your leisure. And also you want to be sure to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Beautiful Mind Pfeiffer. It's just a purple icon. It's very basic, very raw. I do need some help as far as like presentation, but it's just raw information. But I get questions from students. I create videos. Basically, I just record the screen with my audio, and then that's the video. Okay. But what it is a free online math tutoring service that you can. I'm proficient from Calculus 3 on down. And honestly, as long as you send me questions, as soon as I find time, usually it takes me a few minutes on the go. I can be anywhere, and I can make these videos and load them. So it's just basically a free online tutoring service that you can use as long as you have access to my site all the way from Calculus 3 on down. A few classes above Cal 3, but Cal 3 on down is my proficiency level. Pfeiffer, my last name. Yeah. Okay, so with that, I am going to move forward. It should still be working. I guess I could have it loaded on here. I just turn the volume down so I can at least see it.
Did Karen Smith not here?
Who?
Miss Smith?
No, she went on a field trip. Everybody. So okay, so I have it here so I can see it. I think that's fine. I'm gonna let that be. I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, so we have about 2 more sections in Chapter 3. Then we'll be ready for Exam 3 over Chapter 3. Are they about to start the announcements? Please don't do that. Thank you. Because that really gets on my nerves. Okay, so we're moving into Section 3. I don't think I have any opener today. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm going to let that be for now. All right, so Section 3.4, equivalent statements. So we're continuing with the discussion on logic. Everybody decided what they decided, and that's fine. I have to keep moving forward, or we have to keep moving forward. So let's look at it. Equivalent statement is the Morgan's law of variations on conditional statements. We'll look at this. So 2 statements are equivalent, symbolized as this logical equivalent. These are, give me a color. All right, blue. I'm just going to do the color today, just for the sake of time. All right. So these are equivalent. These 2 symbols mean equivalent. This is the logical symbols for equivalent if both statements have exactly the same truth values in the answer columns of the truth table. So if we have 2 statements, and we do the truth tables on them, and if their final columns have the same output, the same truth values, then these statements are equivalent. Okay? So logical equivalence. If the answer columns are not identical, the statements are not equivalent. Sometimes the words logically equivalent are used in place of the word equivalent. So these are ways that we use it interchangeably. It's okay. It's like a logical equal symbol. Okay. Let's see. So determine whether the 2 statements are equivalent. Let's see. How many simple statements do we have here? 3. How many? Let me copy. How many rows are we anticipating? Two to the power of. It's 2 to the power of 3, which is what? What's 2 to the power of 3? 8, right? So we're anticipating 8 rows. We have 3 simple statements. Remember when we construct the truth table? So this is, let it be. Let's see. We want a text box. Yes, go away, come back. Space, go away, come back. There it is. Paper. We want some grid paper. So let's make a table. So we're going to do the truth table for these. We want to see if these 2 are logically equivalent. So let's go this color. So let's see. Let's go like this first. And first thing we have is P, right? And then what's the next one? Q. And let's get thinner lines. Let's go like this. So we said P, 1, 2, 3, 4. just going to drop a line. Q, 1, 2, 3, 4, and R, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So then I'm also going to copy, paste on the edit, crop. This is the first one. So let's go like this. Done. And let's edit that again. Edit, crop. Probably going to distort. Yay, it didn't. That's awesome. All right. So here's the first one right there. That's about good there. And then we want this one, so let's edit, crop. So all I'm doing is putting these two simple statements side by side, and I'm going to compare them with the following symbol. Let's shrink it down some. Shrink it down. God bless you. God bless you. Okay. So how many rows did we say again?
8.
8. So let's get rid of this. Let's see. So here's the first one. So all we're doing right now is constructing the truth table before we actually do it. Let's paste 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do like this. Let's copy, paste. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's duplicate it again. Let's copy, paste. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we need one more? Let's do like this. Copy, paste, and I need it to go just like that. So we have our 8 rows, right? Let's go paper. Let's do one other thing. That's fine. I'm not gonna worry about that. And then we want to compare it like this, or we can do this one. So we're still constructing the truth table. That's going to be our final result there. And let's do this. We want to copy, paste. Okay, if we were looking at the left side over here, what would we do first? If we were the parentheses, right? So the answer would go under what symbol? What symbol is this one? This is the and which one is this one? Oh, is it that much of a lag? Oh, wow, that's really bad. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I just noticed that. Let me check it. See if it's still working. It says green. Maybe I just need to refresh mine. I think mine is just behind. Let me, well, I think I kept playing instead of, let me just catch up with everybody so I can at least see it a little bit better. Then on the, right here in person. And yeah, the titles, I still need to, yes, it's good. I just didn't update, mine needed to be updated, but it's fine. Let's keep going. So the first one is under the or, so we're going to do parentheses first. Then the second answer goes there. Then let's keep going. Why is that one off? What happened? Copy. Paste. Okay, that's fine. And then let's copy. That's fine. And then paste. Now, if we're on the right side, what would we do first? We have an and or and an and. What would we do first? Either and would actually be okay here because they're at the same level. So we typically do that left to right. Okay, I think we've sectioned it off properly. So I'm going to clean this up a bit. And, oh, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to clean this up a bit. Let's do this. This needs to go up to there. And then I'm just going to strike through. One, two, three, four. Copy, paste. I realized I didn't go down far enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Paste. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could try something. Let's try this. Gonna go like that, and we just want to extend these. Nope, I don't like how that's working. So I'm gonna delete these and just start over. Just again to forewarn you, the audio picks up everything and it's recorded, so just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. Ms. Wu, did you hear me? Okay. Again, just to reiterate, the audio does pick up everything and it's streaming, so it's live. So just kind of keep that in mind. Yeah, it's gonna lag. That's fine. But I'm saying it does pick up everything. Okay, so now let's go paper. Let's get rid of the lines. Okay, so this is how we construct the truth table. This is fine. We should probably do like this. That's fine. I'm not gonna worry about that. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have our 8 rows. And then let's see if we can do the following. Oh. Really just want to move it as a unit. That's okay. Then, shoot. Okay, let's back up. Undo, undo. U2. Thank you. Oh, just to give you a heads up, we are streaming live on YouTube right now. So I've been recording the whole session for today. That's how we're just going to have to work it since, you know, with all the calamity that's going on. That way we can move forward and everybody still has access to all of the information. Just to give you a heads up. Okay, and I want to do one other thing. Let's copy this so we can use it later and paste. All right. Can we start an attendance sheet? Just a sheet of paper. Let me get people's names on it. All right. Now, so with this construction, how do we fill in the truth table on the far left columns? The far left we do what? Half and half, right? So the first what? First 4 are what? True, right? So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me about the next set. Mm-hmm. So if this goes by 4s, the next column, cut that in half. This one goes by 2s. So it's true, true, false, false, true, true, false, false. And then the last column, now we go by 1. So every time you take a step, it gets cut in half. False, true, false, true, false, true, false. And actually, let me copy this because that's actually what I need. So we can delete that one. Let's copy, paste. Okay. So keep in mind, so for those that are just coming in, I am streaming live on YouTube right now. The audio picks up everything, so if you don't want any of your personal information out, keep that in mind. I've been streaming the whole class period. I think we have about another hour. I would say anticipate 2 exams on Friday. This exam 2 that we've been trying to take this for these past couple of weeks. We're going to take it on Friday along with exam 3. Exam 3 we will be ready to finish out chapter 3. So we're going to have to take 2 exams on Friday. But then with that being said, you should be able to enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Like this is why I like to do these things before the breaks. Because after the break, then you have anxiety throughout your break and you don't get a break. So I want you to rest, but in order for you to rest, we need to do what we need to do. See what I'm saying? Okay. So if you're walking in, keep in mind, be aware that I am streaming live on YouTube. Okay. So it's going to pick up audio if you don't, just the audio. So if you don't want any of your personal business out there, kind of keep that in mind as we move forward today. But also what that means is that you can go back and see the entire class for today. It is streaming there. I had to update the labels, but it's there. Okay. So now we're moving forward with this one. We're going to go ahead and quickly finish out the truth table. So this is like our first column. This is our second. This is our third. So what's going to be column 4? What's the next thing that we're going to do? So the fourth one, we can start here. All right? So we're saying Q or R. So Q is what column? And R is what column? So what does or mean? It's true when what? When at least one is true. So if we look at, so like if we look here, we're looking at this column and we're looking at this column. Okay, so let's look at it. So if we look at the first column, is at least one true?
Yes.
Is at least one true?
Yes.
Is at least one true?
Yes.
Is at least one true?
No.
Is at least one true?
Yes.
Is at least one true?
Yes.
At least one true?
Yes.
So we had 3 trues and then a false and then 3 true and a false. Is that right? So let's write that in. So we had true, 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 false, true, 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 false. Okay? So then if that's 4, what's going to be column 5?
How many false?
R. Third one. Wait.
It's gonna be false.
Which column are we? What's column 5? What symbol?
It's
The and, right? So we're going to go ahead and fill it in. Now we're saying P and what column? So column 1 and column 4, because it says Q or R. So column 4. So 1 and 4, what does and mean? When is and true? Both are true. So if we look, so now let's look at this. Again, if you're just coming in, be aware that I am streaming live on YouTube. That means it picks up all audio. So kind of keep that in mind. No matter this, I'm telling you, it reverberates, it picks it up. You go and put your headphones in, they're gonna hear your entire conversation. So kind of keep that in mind. So you decide how you want to work that. So we're going to compare these 2 columns of 1 and 4. So if we look at the first row, are they both true? Yes or no?
Yes.
Are they both true?
Yes.
Are they both true?
Yes.
Are they both true?
No.
And then the rest are what? Are they both true in the final? Because because if it's all false on the far left, that means they're not going to both be true. So let's fill it in. We said 1 and 4, are they both true? So yes, 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 and then I think everything else was false. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's column 5. All right. So now when we're on the right-hand side, what's the next column? What symbol? And we're looking at P and Q. So what 2 columns are we comparing? 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2. So with an and, are they both true?
Yes.
Are they both true?
Yes.
Are they both true? What about the next one? What about all the way down?
You don't even talk like that.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay? Right. It's like they can't see your image. It's like, and nobody watches our videos, so it's like, you know.
No, I'm confused. Okay, so
Go ahead.
how many classes do you teach?
Enough. I get around. Like I move. I keep moving.
Because I was trying to find our class on YouTube, and I was like, that's not.
So I don't think I've done anything specifically with your class, but I have videos that relate to things that we've talked
Yeah.
about.
I watch
So-
your lives.
Yeah, it's live right now. So you can actually go to my YouTube channel and you can see this conversation live on YouTube right now. So that means anybody that's not here can still access the information. And it just keeps it. Let's keep going. Now we're saying P and R. So what 2 columns are we comparing?
1 and
1 and 3.
1 and 3. All right. Okay, so we're doing an and. And means what? They what?
Both true.
Both have to be true. So if we're looking at the first row, are they both true?
Yes.
What about the next one?
No.
What about the next one?
Yes.
The next one?
No.
And from here on down is what?
No.
Any questions about this?
No.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
wait. So that was 6, right? So then this was 7. It's a 7. All right. So next, what symbol are we comparing?
Q and P.
Nope.
Or
Yes.
6 and 7.
We're comparing 6 and 7 with the symbol or. So what does or mean? When is or true? So now we're looking at this column compared to this column. So then we said or is true when at least one is true. So then keep telling me.
True.
True.
False. I mean,
Nope,
yeah, true.
nope. If you're gonna do the voice, don't be wrong.
False all the way down.
Don't be loud and wrong. Thank you, because I will pick on you. Okay. The nail that sticks out always is hammered. Question.
Oh,
Any question?
why is the second row?
Okay. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. So we're comparing this symbol here, this and symbol. So I know I got 2 arrows going, but we're comparing this symbol with columns 6 and 7, right? So we're comparing 6 to 7 with the symbol or. Or means it says either the first thing is true or the second thing is true, which means as long as one of them is true, it's true. Otherwise, it's false. So if we look at the first row, is at least one true? That's why it's true. Is at least one true? Is at least one true? And then the rest, there are no more truths. So provided we haven't made any mistakes, now when we're comparing this symbol here, this logical equivalence, what 2 columns are we comparing? 8 and 5 is correct. Okay, so it's not obvious. When we started, we had to start with the parentheses first. Then the conclusion was this symbol. So on the left-hand side, this is the conclusion. On the right-hand side, so now we have the 2 highlighted. So now we're asking ourselves, are these 2, do they have, okay, wait a minute. So I think the proper symbol might be something like this. But then if it's true, then we can say that they're logically equivalent. But it's the same idea, so don't worry about that. So now if we look at those 2 columns, in the first row, are they the same, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, what about the next one?
Yes.
What about the next one?
Yes.
What about on down, are they the same?
False. All false.
Are they the same? Not all false. Are they the same?
Wait. Yes.
Yes. So all the way down, what should I put?
True.
True. Okay. So then the question is, are these logically equivalent? So now we're ready to answer the question. Let's see where the question is. So here's the original. It says, determine whether the 2 following statements are equivalent. So what we did the truth value for each one. And equivalent means that they're going to have the same outcome in the end. That's how we got that tautology. Okay, so the conclusion that we got, give me a color.
Red, pink.
I think I did hear pink first. So, and this was column 9, right? All right. So then this was the conclusion. Because we got a tautology here, then that means that the 2 statements are logically equivalent.
Are we going to memorize tautologies and all that?
What do you mean?
Like, know what they are?
Not a did. No.
Right.
No. So, but they did. There's a little bit different. They did separate truth tables for each one separately, and then they compared. And then when you compare the conclusions to each truth table, they get the same outcome. So then that means that the 2 are logically equivalent. So therefore, we can write this. So yeah, we can say that these 2 statements are logically equivalent. Let's move forward. I'm going to move a little faster. Which statements are logically? Are there any questions about that last example? Okay. It says, which statements are logically equivalent? Determine which statement is logically equivalent to, it is not true that, we should probably do this one. Determine which statement is logically equivalent to, it is not true that the tire is both out of balance and flat. Okay, let's do this one. Let's actually do this one. Let's see. It is not true that the tire is both out of balance and flat. How many simple statements are in the original statement? In that comment? How many? 2. What's the first simple statement?
it is not true that the tire is
So if you're saying not, that's one of our connectives. So you got to remove that. What's the
tire
affirmative?
is out of balance.
The tire is out of balance, and what's the other one?
The tire is
The tire is flat. You see how subtle that is? It says balance and flat, but those are actually 2 simple statements. So let's do it really quickly. Give me a color.
Purple.
Yellow, no.
Green.
I think I heard purple first. So now if P is going to be, what's the first one?
The tire is out of balance.
Okay, so the tire is out of balance. Okay, so if that's the first one, tell me what's the next one?
The tire is flat.
Tire is flat. Okay. Now let's translate this statement form into the symbolic form. All right. So it is not true that it sounds like that there's a comma right there. So let's see if there's a comma. The tire is both out of balance and flat. So how do we write the second part in symbolic form?
The
P upside down V Q, right?
Yeah.
So the second part might be P and Q, but then it says it is not true that. What does the comma mean? Parentheses. That we're going to group them together based on the comma. So then how do we incorporate that? It says if it's not true that the second part. So the negation. So the tilde. So like this, not this. So our claim is that the original statement in symbolic form is going to be something like this. Thank you for that notification. So now part A, it says if the tire is not flat, then the tire is not out of balance. So it says the tire is not flat. So which one is that one? Flat is which one? Q. Yeah, so we're saying not Q. So A is saying not Q. It says if then. So what symbol is for if then? The right arrow. Okay, this is good. Where's my attendance sheet?
Right here.
Who needs to sign attendance? Be sure to get your name on the attendance. I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13.
Yeah, I signed.
Just get it around. It's okay. What's the second part?
Anyone else?
It says if the tire is not flat, then the tire is not out of balance.
Yeah, everyone signed it.
Tell me about the next part. So we said not Q implies
The tire is out of
symbolic. I need the symbols.
Oh, so is this thing?
Tilde,
Yeah, that.
not what?
P.
Okay, it's not mine. So not Q implies not P. So our claim is that this is symbolic form for part A. Is this okay? 15, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Who are the 2 additional names?
They're not here yet.
Who's that? Who's there?
Anissa and Anaya.
Kabir and Anaya McFarland. Okay, that's fine. Whoop. It's okay. Okay, the tire is not out of balance or the tire is not flat. So how are we going to translate that? Part B.
Tilde
P.
So the P sounds good. V sounds good. Tilde Q. Any questions there? Let's keep going. Flat is Q. Okay. The tire is not flat and the tire is not out of balance. Tilde Q.
Upside down.
And, tilde P. Okay, I think this is good. And then it says, if the tire is not out of balance, then the tire is not flat. So what is this one?
Right arrow.
Uh-uh.
I mean, wait, hold on.
Not out of balance. You got the idea. That's coming up. Tilde P.
P. And then right
Arrow. Tilde Q, right? So now, it says, which of these statements is logically equivalent? If we wanted to determine which is logically equivalent, what would we need to do? Create a,
The chart.
what kind of chart? Truth table. So we would create a truth table for each of these statements, and then we're going to compare them. I'm just not going to do that for the sake of time. It's already done. But we're just going to just quickly do a truth table for each of these. So let's look at it. Let's see. So we said not P and Q. We got that proper. We got not Q implies not P for A. That's fine. Not P or not Q. And then implies. That's fine. And then this. Look, I don't make this up. I was just sitting here as a messenger. You know. So it is what it is. If it is that easy, then please just take advantage of it and ace the exam. Seriously, like then I don't. It's beyond. That's out of my control. My thing is, they say, hey, we need you to talk about this. I was like, okay, that's fine. But again, this is still kind of the beginning. I mean, we're about to wrap it up. We still haven't really seen any application. There are like some real world applications where this comes into play. This actually comes in when we start doing proofs. We haven't done proofs, but this is the foundation level for proving things. But you can't talk about proofs in mathematics without knowing this information. This is like learning the alphabet. But then you get into like telling stories. You can't tell a story if you don't know the language of a thing. So I know what it looks like. I know it seems really light, but again, this is the foundation level for like computer programming, for proving things in a court of law. This is where this stuff is applied. But at this level, I agree with you. It is very, very light. But again, this is the foundation. This is the beginning. Okay, so don't make a judgment about the whole thing until you have experienced the whole thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, I think it's okay. It looks like it's okay. I want to kind of do something really quickly. That's there. I don't know how to adjust that. This is OBS. This is how I am recording. So what I'm going to do, I want to move it to the left just a little bit.
So is screen recording as well?
That's what it's recording. Yeah, everything that you're seeing on the projector, that's what's going. The audio and the visual. Yes, this is what I've been trying to get you all to see as far as asking questions. Anyway, okay, so that looks good. I'm gonna let that be and keep moving forward. So we got the translation from the statement form to the symbolic form. That looks fine. So then we would construct truth tables for each item and then compare. Now, which one matches the original? The first, second, third, or fourth?
Oh wait, the second.
The second, right? Because the conclusion of the first one was true, false, true, true. The second one is the only one that matches. It's a conclusion of false, true, false, false. The second one is the only one that's equivalent to the first. So I'm coming. I know you have a question. I'm coming. But the second one is the only one that's equivalent. So is the original is only equivalent to the first. Now look at this as far as the original. We have not, P, and Q. That not, you can almost look at it like a negative symbol. In mathematics, if that were a negative, what would you do with that symbol?
You distribute it to both of them.
If we were distributing, right? Imagine if this were an algebraic expression and we distributed the negative. What would happen? What would it become? What would change? It would become not P
and not Q.
So almost. So it does flip. Everything inside flips. So when we distribute the negative, everything needs to flip. So it becomes not P or not Q. And you see the only one that works is the not P or not Q. Notice you said not P and not Q. That's actually the third one. And notice it doesn't match. See what I'm saying? So it's going to start connecting.
What would it be if it was like an arrow? Would it be like the other way?
We have a way. You will rewrite the implication as a disjunctive syllogism. You write it as an or. So we're going to see how we can rewrite the implication using and or, and then we apply the negation. You'll see it. It's coming up. It's not that straightforward. Okay, so it only matches the second one. So then the statement, it is not true that the tire is both out of balance and flat, is logically equivalent to the tire is not out of balance or the tire is not flat. Okay, go ahead.
Can you go back up to the chart?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like every time we start off with the chart for the P and Q, it's always the same. The truth.
Yeah, if it's only two simple statements, that left side is the same. If it's three, I think we did one when you first came in where we had three and how it looks different. If it's four, then how many rows is it going to be? 2 to the power of 4, which is equal to 16. 16, right? So the number of simple statements determines those left-hand columns. Yeah. Let's keep going. Okay. So then the conclusion is that from the original statement, it is not true that the tire is both out of balance and flat is logically equivalent to the tire is not out of balance or the tire is not flat. So that you can take like a statement or a declaration that somebody is giving you, you can actually translate it to a symbolic form, do the logical calculus, whatever that's called, the predicate calculus, whatever it's called. You can do it, and you can actually look at the truth table, the truth values, and compare it. So when somebody's saying something, if it don't make sense, you can translate it to some symbols, determine the truth value, and then you can be like, oh, so what you're really saying is this. Now, in a realistic sense or an application, it might take a little bit of enabling to get people to see it, but you'll know whether it's logically the same or not. You can kind of use it to your advantage or use it to your presentation. And that's a little bit roundabout, but I'm under the impression that this is what lawyers do. And my friends that are lawyers that I've spoken to, they said that this kind of stuff is the hardest thing that they do. So as a mathematician, if this is your niche, and especially if you're thinking about going into law, you have an edge on everybody. I'm not going to say you have an easy time, but you have an edge on everybody. So what we just experienced there, where we kind of distributed the negative, is called the Morgan's law. So if we say not P and Q, when we distribute, then it becomes not P or not Q. So notice the logical and flip to become the logical or. And then similarly, if we say not P or Q, everything flips as well. Does that make sense? That's called the Morgan's law. It's kind of like a distributive law. Let's keep going. So it says, using De Morgan's law, write a statement that is logically equivalent to, it is not true that tomatoes are poisonous or eating peppers cures the common cold. Let's translate this. What's the first, how many simple statements are here? Two. Tell me what's the first one. Tomatoes are poisonous, right? Tomatoes, tomato. Tomatoes are poisonous. Okay. What's the second simple statement?
Eating peppers cure the common cold.
Eating peppers. That's probably one of those. Eating peppers cures. You can research it. The common cold. That's not our discussion. Okay. So now it says now let's translate this statement into symbolic form. It is not true that, comma. So then what's happening? Okay, here parentheses. That's fine. Tilde in front. What else? P, B, Q, right? Is that what it's saying? That's the original. Now, if we apply the Morgan's law, what's going to happen? It's going to become not P and not Q. So now, if we take the symbols and apply it back to the statements, translate the symbolic form into the statement form. So then, what are we really saying? Tomatoes are not poisonous, and eating peppers does not cure the common cold. You see how we did that? Does that make sense? All right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So we're missing 1. Okay. So we did that. We did that. And we got that. And we got that conclusion. Questions, comments, or concerns before I go forward? So if you're just coming in, be aware I am streaming this live on YouTube. You can watch the entire class today. So from the beginning all the way up until this moment, I've been streaming live. So you can go and retrieve the copy. The labeling might be a bit off, but it's whichever one is posted like at this time. So let's keep moving. Are we going to, yeah, when do we end? Is it 9:50 or 10:05? Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see, the conditional statement written as a disjunction. To change a conditional statement into a disjunction, negate the antecedent, change the conditional symbol to a disjunctive, and keep the consequence the same. So it's not there, but what should be there if we had something like, give me a color.
Yellow. Orange.
I heard, I'm going to do orange because with yellow, I would use it, but it's too bright. I can't see it, so don't use yellow. I would have used purple, but we just used purple. So the third one I heard was orange. So if we're going to say P implies Q, this should be the same. What we're saying is that this is the same as not Q or P. How can we verify that these two are equivalent or not? If we did the truth table for each, I think we can do it really quickly. I'm going to really quickly do it and see. So if we have P and Q, right? True, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. I know it's a little sloppy. That's okay. Then we're going to look at P implies Q. When is implication true? It's what? It's always true, except
if false implies true implies false.
True implies false. That's the only time this is false. So we're going to have true, false, true, true. False implies anything is true. It's only false with true implies false. We want to compare that to. We want to compare this to not Q or P. Now, if we were doing not Q or P, which do we do first? What takes precedence? The not. Not takes precedent in this case. Not, we do the nots before or. So if we do not Q, what is that? False, true, false, true? False, true, false, true. And then P is there. So now if we're doing or, means what? At least what? At least one is true. Now let me see if I did this right. Not Q. Not, okay, I think I got it backwards. So let me fix it. I think it's supposed to be not P or Q. So let me fix that. So then not P or Q, and then let me fix it down here. This is why I did the truth table, just for confirm without looking at the answer. So we're going to say not P or Q. Now let's see. The opposite of P, if we say false, false, true, true, and then Q is there. Now, or means at least one is true, so that's true, false, true, true. That's the proper way. That's when I realized that I made the mistake, because when I went to do the final column of the truth table, it didn't match, and I know it's supposed to match. So now we see that the two final columns match. So then now we put it in the proper way. So to change the implication, negate the antecedent, which is the first part, change it to an or, and then keep the consequence the same, which is the second part. Now we have it in proper order. So to rewrite the implication as an or, this is Mr. Patterson. This is how we would do it. If we wanted to negate the implication, we would rewrite it like this and then apply the Morgan's law. Go ahead.
That last column with the true, false, true, true. Like, what did you compare it to?
Okay. Give me a color.
Green.
Green? Green? Okay. So we're here, right? That was the conclusion of that one. We did the not P first. This was the conclusion of this side, right? So I compared those two together, the two greens that you see. That's what I'm smelling. Okay. Yeah, it's food. I'm a guy. Come on. All right, so let's shrink this down, and we're good to go. What's the time? We got plenty of time. Let's keep going. No, we don't. We get out in 25 minutes. I still think we have another hour, but that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So disjunction written as a to change the disjunction. We just said that. Do we have a copy? A duplicate? Looks like it's a duplicate. Oh no, this is a yeah. So this is rewording what you saw in the last slide. It says to write the implication to change a. Oh, this is to change the or to the implication. It says negate the first statement, change the or to an implication, and then keep the second statement. That's fine. I'll let that be. So it says write the statement that's logically equivalent to. It says the Oregon Ducks will win or the Oregon State will lose. Assume that the negation of winning is losing. Conditional statement. So we want to write it as an implication, right? What's the first statement?
The Oregon Ducks will win. The Oregon State Beavers will win.
All right, so the first one is the Ducks will win. Instead of the Oregon State Beavers will lose, we're going to say the Oregon will win, okay? So right now we're at P or not Q, right? So if we were to translate this to an implication, it should be not P implies Q. Is that right? Negate the first one, the or becomes an implication, and keep the second one. I think that's what it is. This is the first one. We just let the first one be. So we said P or not Q. We want to write an equivalent statement as an implication. All we're going to do is negate the first one, change or to an implication, and keep the second one. So then this one written as an implication should be not P implies not Q. Not obvious. It should start building at this point. Should start getting out of that easy stuff. So then we would translate the symbols back to the statement form. If the Oregon Ducks lose, then the Oregon State Beavers will win. Not obvious. It's going to take practice. Okay, so we're definitely going to have that exam on Friday. We're going to have one more section after this. What's this? How many slides? We still got a good amount, but we'll see what it's looking like. We'll definitely finish this one out. We'll go ahead and take Wednesday to do the last section. We can do some review on Wednesday if we finish early. This Friday, we're going to take 2 exams. Exam 2, I actually have it here, but with all the calamity, I was not about to pass on an exam today. I'm definitely going to do it on Friday, come hell or high water. Go ahead.
Can I speak to you?
Yeah. Okay. Huh? No. Because if we finish this, I would have considered it, but it doesn't look like we're going to finish. Because we only got about 25 minutes, and we got a whole other section to do. Unless I could make section 5, I could just put it on you guys' lap, and you guys you're responsible on your own. Do the homework and ask me questions, and we can use Wednesday as an exam day. What did y'all want to do? Y'all want to take one exam on Wednesday and one on Friday, or 2 on Friday?
One on Wednesday, one on Friday.
Y'all rather do one Wednesday and one Friday? Let me see a show of hands. Who would like to do Wednesday and Friday for exams? By show of hands. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As opposed to 2 exams on Friday. Who would like to do 2 exams on Friday? Nobody? Okay. So, but what that means is you're going to be responsible for 3, 5, and that exam is going to be Friday. Okay? Okay. We're working on. I can't move it. Because that's the last day, and then we're gone for a whole week, so I have to. But now, if you've missed one exam, I will say that I do anticipate. Usually, what I do is we'll take the final, come about the end of week 7, right in there. So then week 8, I usually take 1 day to do makeup exam. So if you miss any exam for whatever reason, I'm not gonna ask you what the reason, but there will be 1 day for everybody to make up 1 missed exam. So if you missed an exam, we'll talk about it, and there will be an opportunity for everybody to make up any missed exam. Only if you missed exam, no retakes or anything like that. Only if you missed it. No excuses or anything. Just whatever exam you want to make up, we can do it that day. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep moving. The negation of a conditional statement written as a conjunction. Okay, so if we wanted to negate this implication, right? First, we got to write it as a disjunction. So if we have P implies Q, that's the same as what? Not P or Q. So look, watch. If we just looked at P implies Q, we rewrite it as an OR. Give me a color.
Brown.
Okay, I have it sent out. This, if we write that as an OR, what does it become? What does it become? Not P or Q. This is what we introduced today, right? So this is the same as not P or Q. We still have that negation in front. If we distribute or use the Morgan's law, what happens? It becomes double negative is positive or goes back to the original. So we have P and not Q, and that's where that comes from. So that's how you would negate the implication. That refers to the question that you asked earlier. This is good stuff. Let's keep going. Write the statement that is equivalent. It is false that if you hang the picture, then it will be crooked. So if P is hang the picture, Q is crooked. So right now we have P implies Q. It is false that, comma, so then that means we have this, right? So if we just did this, right? So then this is logically equivalent to what? Not what? Not P.
No.
Or Q, right? That's how. So the middle part. Let me do this. Give me a color.
Orange.
Okay, orange. Style. Let's go orange. So the orange implication P implies Q is the same as the orange not P or Q. So that's how we rewrite it. Does that make sense? One orange goes to the other. Now we apply the Morgan's law. We're going to go like this. It's essentially all that's happening. Then the conclusion ends up being, so this is logically equivalent to, we're going to have P and not Q. So then if P is, we hang the picture, Q is, it will be crooked. Now how do we translate, how do we translate the symbols that we got?
So that'll be,
let me see. When we hang, we hang the picture and it will not be crooked, right? We hang the picture and it will not be crooked. Let's see. You may hang the picture and the picture will not be crooked. It's so weird. But this is like, honestly, when this was introduced to me, when I was in you guys, well, I was actually older than you all. But so that's why it's like, it's kind of interesting. The program that you guys are a part of is actually very valuable because when you start college, you're going to already have college credit. Less time that you have to spend in college, the less money is going to cost you. So you can actually come out with your degree spending a fraction of what other people are paying. So it's a very valuable program. It's actually serious business. That's why I was kind of heated about this weekend, this past Friday, with wasting everybody's time. But I was like, it's fine. Got to move forward. I struggle with letting things go, by the way. So that's why I'm still kind of like this about it. But anyway, that's me and me learning myself. But long story short, this program is very valuable. And so the first time I saw anything like this, it was a class called set theory. Set theory was like the boundary between traditional math where you're dealing with numbers and then when you get into advanced math where you start doing proofs. Like this kind of stuff was the boundary between just numbers. Like for somebody like me, I eat numbers up. Like I was like, oh, numbers, yes. But then you get to a point where you have to prove things. You have to, given some statement, you have to show this kind of logical calculus, whether it's true or false, and then you have to back it with this kind of stuff. And like that's what advanced mathematics is. So that's why, like, I know this seems very light. Again, there is no such thing as complex. Complex is nothing but a long string of simple ideas. So if you miss a simple idea, that's where people get confused. So, and the truth of the matter is there is nothing other than the basics. So if you don't have interest in the basics, then you're not interested in mastery. Because it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. That's what I mean by this stuff, this mathematics stuff is actually life. Because even if it was music or whatever it is that you want to study, the true masters know that there's nothing other than the basics. And if you're not interested in the basics, you're not interested in mastering whatever it is that you want to master. There was a question. Go ahead.
This is kind of a personal question. Like, when is your birthday? Just curious.
I'm going to leave that as a mystery for right now, mainly because we're streaming on YouTube, and two, it's just fun to kind of mess with the students when they start asking questions like that. I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm not going to say it right this second. So I'm not going to, I have mentioned it. And I'll let it be for right now. We could talk about it at another point in time. And you probably know, but I'll let it be. So let's move forward. Is the time frozen? What is going on? It's been 9:41 for like 30 minutes now. What time is it?
It's 9:28.
It's 9:28? What is going on with the clock? That's why I've been so thrown.
I said you was like 20-some minutes off. Like,
The clock right there definitely says 9:41. So I'm just listening for the bell. I'm kind of watching. So we might actually finish some stuff today. If we could finish 3-4 and 3-5 today, we can definitely do whatever it is you guys want to do. It'll be fine. Let's keep moving forward. Any other questions before I move? I was like, I know that thing said 9:41 like 20 minutes ago. I was like, why does it still say 9:41? And like my phone is being used, but that's fine. Let me see if I go like this. Will that help? Yes, I actually have a clock now. I'm gonna go like this then. Oh no. All right. I wish I had my stand. It's somewhere so I can see. Yes, got a stand. All right. Okay. Ooh. I didn't know I did that. All right, cool. So now I can see the time. All right, we're good to go. Okay. Before I go forward, any other questions before I go forward? Questions, comments, or concerns? Okay. So variations on conditional statements are the converse of the conditional, the inverse, and the contrapositive. We should just look at this. Okay, let's just look at it. So I can see in people's faces, it's starting to bog down. Don't get bogged. Just team up. Team up. Be sure to have somebody's contact in the room. Now, give me a color.
Red.
I think I heard orange. Did I hear orange?
Red.
Okay, I'll do red. I know I'm doing simple figures today. Just for the sake of time, I'm really trying to move forward. So now, here's the original. We have P implies Q, right? So that means if P, then Q. Now, the converse is just we switch these two. Is the converse necessarily true? Are these necessarily the same? No. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. They're not necessarily the same. When we say P implies Q and Q implies P, they are not necessarily the same. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. Okay? If we say P implies Q, the inverse, is not P implies not Q, and the contrapositive. The contrapositive, I think, is saying the same thing in a positive sense. It's something like that. But I think the first one, I think this is the same as this, and then this is the same as this. I think we're gonna verify and look at it. That's just off the cuff. So the conditional is this. The contrapositive, we do, it's like a double reverse. Not only do you reverse the order, but then you negate these. The inverse is just negation. Okay, and then the converse is there. So CIC, I don't know how to get you how to sync that in, but let's kind of keep going. Yeah. Let's see. It says for the conditional statement this, write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. So what's the first simple statement? So let me see. Let's say the song contains sitar music, or is that supposed to be guitar music?
Sitar.
Sitar is a real thing?
Yeah.
What is sitar?
It's kind of like a guitar, but it's big,
A big little flat,
it's shaped different.
like a bowl or something? Okay. All right. So let's say the first one is the song contains sitar music. Then it says the song was written by George Harrison. So if that's going to be what? Give me a color.
Black.
Definitely have not done black. So we're going to say P implies Q, right? The converse will be what?
Q implies.
Q implies P. The inverse is what?
Not Q.
Because the contrapositive was a double reverse. When I say double reverse, I mean not only did we change the order, but we also negate both of them. So the contrapositive is that one. So the inverse should just be not P implies not Q. Is that right? Keep me honest. I make mistakes. I'm a human being, not a human doing. So I don't do to-do lists. I'm not here to do. I'm here to be, just like everybody else.
You so wise. You write like a book.
Yeah, that's part of the. Well, I am writing a book, and that's part of the reason why I started streaming. And I'm going to receive that. I'm trying not to get a big ego,
For real.
Well, no, I don't make this stuff up. This is a collection of what I've gotten from my mentors, and honestly, I go running a lot. I listen to a lot of Tony Robbins, Les Brown, a lot of self-help. It's fantastic stuff. So this is, again, when you copy one, then you're a perpetrator. When you copy many, you're an innovator. When you steal from one source, that's called plagiarism. When you steal from many, that's called research. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not getting this from one. Like this is my mentor, my former martial arts instructor. A little bit. Yep. Yes. No. But I did train off and on pretty solid for over 10 years. From 2004 until recently. We eventually just shut down the school, but the stuff is very vivid in my mind. And I let it go. I would never use it. That's why I stopped training. I stopped training because I didn't want to experience this stuff. I realized I was cycling certain things that I just didn't want to experience over and over. And I was like, you know what? All that's going to happen is manifest destiny. Let me just focus on what I really want and stop focusing on stuff I don't want. So I've kind of moved beyond the physical, and I really focus on the metaphysical. And that's just me. Anyway. Again, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just pulling from multiple sources. Let's keep going. So this is our claim. Okay, now the converse. It says sitar music and Harrison. So then the converse would be what? If the song was written by George Harrison, then it contains sitar music. I think we know how to translate from symbols to, yeah. But yeah, I still received what you said. I received that. I'm gonna let it be. So P implies Q. That's the translation of the original. I think this is all straightforward. I'm not gonna. We said Q implies P is good. We said not P implies not Q. That's proper. And then we did this. Just translate the statements. Questions, comments, or concerns before we go forward? Okay, I'm going to keep moving. Oh, that was the end of that one. Okay, so let me do the following. I'm going to stop the stream. So it should be 2. Let me stop it real quick.